Howdy guys, Jimmy Song here. In this video, I'm going to talk about method of payment and how that needs to occur naturally. Now, I wrote a blog post about this already, but some of you like videos better, so hopefully this is going to be easier for you to digest. Anyway, a lot of people in Bitcoin Cash particularly think that method of payment is the main use case for Bitcoin, or it needs to be a more prominent use case, or it needs to be something that they have to push, right? Not something that the market naturally goes towards. And that, I think, is a very big mistake. That's intervening in a market and trying to force something when it really doesn't need any forcing. The thing about method of payment is that you need both parties to want to utilize that method of payment. I could say, you know, I have some Jimmy dollars and I would like to spend some Jimmy dollars at a merchant. It's no good unless the merchant also takes Jimmy dollars. It needs to be a mutual thing. Now you can force that in a couple ways. Governments have traditionally used like legal tender laws. You have to take this as possible payment for goods or services in order to sort of force both parties to a particular single standard. But in a free market, you know, you can't force anybody. So you know, if you're forcing somebody, then it's not really natural. Instead, what a lot of you know, people like Roger Ver do is they try to go and you know, pay various companies or market to them and try to convince them the benefits of BCH and eventually get them to take it. And what they find, of course, is that nobody really wants to pay. Like, first of all, they don't want to integrate, you know, your crappy coin that nobody else, like very few people use. And second, like, even if you integrate something like Bitcoin, a lot of people just don't want to use it because they're using it as a store of value. They want to you know, store value for the future. They think it's going to go up. They're not going to want to spend something that they think is going to go up. So there's a few ways in which it just doesn't work. A lot of people don't want to spend their Bitcoin, and a lot of merchants, even if they get Bitcoin for like a computer or something, they immediately convert it to whatever their native currency is. The reason is because the merchants don't really value Bitcoin as a store of value. And it's not, and that's not something that you can force on them. You can't force them to value Bitcoin as a store of value. That's not something that that they're just going to suddenly have because, oh, okay, well, I learned about BCH, now I'm going to you know, value it as a store of value. That's not how it works. They have to want it on their own. And it's only when they want it on their own that they start demanding method of payment in a particular currency. So in Venezuela, for example, there are very few black market merchants, if at all, that will take Venezuelan bolivars because it will depreciate by the time they're able to exchange it. But you know, like something like the US dollar, they'll gladly take because that's a better store of value than the bolivar. And the same thing needs to happen here in order for method of payment to become a prominent thing for Bitcoin. The merchants need to want Bitcoin as much as the holders. And that's the only, and at that point, when they say, okay, Bitcoin only, you have to pay me in Bitcoin, that's when it becomes more of a method of payment. That's some method of payment happening naturally for a currency instead of artificially like Roger Ver et al. Are trying to do. And that's reminiscent of a lot of government intervention, and it should, because that's exactly what government tries to do. They try to quote unquote spur innovation by you know, subsidizing certain technologies or whatever, and they're almost always boondoggles or failures because the government doesn't know what the market wants. In fact, they're very insensitive to what the market wants. Vast majority of the time, they're just printing that money anyway. So they're not price sensitive at all either. You need market forces to work. You need price signals. You need pressures of entrepreneurship to make all of that make people listen to the market. And that is not what these people are doing. They're just sort of trying to force it in the vain hope that this will increase the store of value case, which in turn increases price. So anyway, hope that helps you understand why method of payment isn't here yet and probably won't be for a while until a lot of people value Bitcoin as a store of value. And that's, you know, method of payment is something that comes later. You know, If you don't think so, tell me why I'm wrong. Anyway, this song is done.